Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear student. Welcome to the course of Media and Society in Pakistan with the course code of GMC 151, lecture now 5. The topic of today's lecture is History of Media in Pakistan. I am Mrs. Arfa Bangash, lecturer Journalism and Mass Communication Department, Kohat University of Science and Technology, Kohat. Dear student, the agenda of today's topic is early history of newspaper, evolution of print media in Pakistani society, what is media, different types of print media, major print media groups operating in Pakistan, printing and publication industry of Pakistan. Let's start with the early history of newspaper all over the world. The begin of newspaper, the first real newspaper in England, the first American newspaper, the first newspaper in Canada, Hackey's Bengal Gazette, Jame Jahan Numa, and the last, Daily Urdu Akhbar. Let's start with the begin of newspapers. The begin of newspaper being circulating in the 17th century. The first real newspaper in England was printed in 1665. The first successful daily newspaper in the Britannia was printed in 1702. The first American newspaper was printed in 1690. It was called Public Occurrence, both foreign and domestic. The first newspaper in Canada was the Halifax Gazette in 1752. The first daily American newspaper was published in 1784. The Hackey's Bengal Gazette, or the original Calcutta Journal Advertiser, was an English language weekly newspaper published in Kolkata. It was the first newspaper printed in Asia and was published for 2 years. Founded by James Augustus Hackey, the newspaper was important for its provocative journalism, well before its time and its fight for free expression in the India. Next, Jame Jahan Numa. Jame Jahan Numa, the first issue was the first issue on 27th March 1822 or 1828 and was started by Maulana Muhammad Azad, the father of Maulana Maulvi Bakir. Now come to the words Daily Urdu Akhbar. Maulvi Muhammad Bakir, founder of Daily Urdu Akhbar, was first Delhi's Urdu newspaper. The Sultanul Akhbar, the Sirajul Akhbar, and the Sadiqul Akhbar were all in Persian. In 1857, as the revolt spread around North India, Bakir changed the name of his newspaper from Daily Urdu Akhbar to Akhbarul Zafar from July 12, 1857. The Zamindar newspaper, the first French newspaper, the Vidomosty, the Arab newspaper. Let's start with Zamindar. Zamindar was an Indian Muslim newspaper in the Urdu language. The founding editor of this newspaper was Maulana Zafar Ali Khan, a poet, intellectual writer, Muslim nationalist, and supporter of All India Muslim League's Pakistan movement. Zamindar newspaper was the mouthpiece of Indian Muslims, Muslim nationalist, and Pakistan movement during the era of 1920, 1930, and 1940. It was the most popular newspaper of Muslims of India and played a key role in crafting the journalistic traditions of Pakistan and the Urdu language. Next is the first French newspaper Gazette, afterwards called the Gazette de France. The first weekly edition appeared in May 1631. It had many permanent contributors, and in 1790 its circulation rose rapidly and reached at peak of 13,000 copies. The next is Widow Mosty. Widow Mosty was the first newspaper printed in Russia. It was established by Peter at 1672, or some is saying 1702. The first issue appeared on 2 January 1703. The circulation changed from several dozen copies to 4,000. In 1719, the newspaper contained 22 pages. The Arab newspaper. In the early 19th century, with the American newspaper Cock-Up America was started. Cock-Up America was an American language weekly, later on daily newspaper published in New York City, United States. It was the first Arabic language newspaper in North America. It was founded by Najib and Ibrahim between 1892 and 1908. Politically, Kokab America was highly supportive of Ottoman rules. Dear student, after a short review of early history of newspaper, now come towards the evolution of print media in Pakistani society. Here's some focal points for the discussion. Printing and publication industry of Pakistan, print media and national cohesion, economic, technological and political factor affecting print media of Pakistan, future prospects of print media in Pakistan. Before starting the evolution of print media in Pakistani society, we have to know about what is print media, different types of print media, which one is the most effective in Pakistani society. Major print media groups operating in Pakistan like Dawn Group, Nawai Bug Group, Jung Group, Express Group, and Daily Times Group. What is print media? The means of mass communication in a form of printed publications, or print media is a mean of mass communication in form of printed publication. It comprises of magazine, newspaper, book, circulars, journals, pamphlets. Print media is an incredibly important part of marketing mix and can help business to engage their target audience and extend their reach to potential customers by investing in it. There are different form of print media, for example, books, newspaper, and magazines. Books. In the past, book was not a mass medium but a privilege of the elite class. There were two reasons for that. First, books were not printed but transcribed by hand. Secondly, the low literacy level in the masses limited books exclusively to small fraction of society. It was 19th century which saw book as a mass medium. In the contemporary world, book is one of the most effective mass media. It is the best source of education. However, it should not be talent merely as an educational tool. It is the best and cheapest means of storing and understanding to others the records, knowledge, literature, and entertainment characteristic of the human society. Computer can also be used for storage and retrieval of the information. However, it has yet to go a long way to replace books for storing and retrieval purpose. Book provide permanent record. Some books printed several years ago are still in existence. Books from their beginning have demonstrated their capacity to bind traditional society together and to give a raise to a new and sometimes the revolutionary thoughts patterns. Book Here's kinds of book. Books are categorized as trade books, paperback books, textbook, professional books. Newspaper. Newspaper is one of the most important and effective print media of mass communication. It was first published in January and later spread its roots to the rest of the world. It's a valuable services to the community like information, education, entertainment, persuasion, culture transmission, record facility, etc., have made it an inevitable medium for the contemporary world. Function of newspaper: information and interpretation, opinion building, education, entertainment, and advertising. Dear student, let's elaborate these points that what is information and interpretation. A newspaper provide information to people about various events issue worldwide. It also interprets and explain matter which will be otherwise difficult to understand for readers. Opinion building: beside reflection of public opinion, a newspaper helps its reader to build opinion about various national and international issues, events, and political thoughts. It's through its editorials and opinion columns. Education: a newspaper is a great public educator. It discusses every topic, ranging from the news to literature, supplies the reader update to information about science and technology, and also promotes civilization in the society. Entertainment: a newspaper also entertains its reader through special features, stories of human interest in cartoon, etc. Advertising: it serves as an agent between seller and buyer. It increases sales of various goods and services through its advertisements. Beside the above mentioned function, a newspaper also provide a firm to the minorities, serves as a watchdog of government, and is used as a source for record and background information, etc. Magazine. Magazine is an other important print medium of mass communication. The birth of journalism in the Indo-Pak subcontinent dates back to the magazine journalism. Haki Gazette, Jame Jahanuma, Maratul Akhbar, and Dakdarshan, the first English, Urdu, Persian, and Bengali languages paper respectively, were all weeklies. A magazine is published periodically in a bound format, has a double paper cover, and usually better quality paper is used. Magazine can be classified in terms of regular interval of their publication and appeal wise. The first category includes weekly, fortnightly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, annually, and biannually, etc., while the latter category includes mass magazine, class magazine, and specialized magazine, etc. Function of magazine: with a slight difference, a magazine performs almost the same function as newspaper does, like information, entertainment, comment, advertising, newsletter, pamphlet, and leaflet. Now come towards information. What is information? Information: unlike newspaper, a magazine does not provide hard news. However, its reader thirst for information with in-depth coverage of various stories. These may be about politics, crime, personalities, or fashion, etc. Number 2, entertainment. Magazine is a comparatively more entertaining print medium. For its reader, it contains feature, comic, sports, showbiz, current affair, etc. Some magazines, mass magazine, have journal appeal for readers, while others have specialized reader. However, both types are the entertaining for their readers. Number third, comment. Like newspaper, magazine also have specific editorial policy. They comment on various issues and policies in the light of their own respective editorial policy, which on the one hand guide public opinion and on the other express their own policy. Number 4, advertising. A magazine provide the means for establishing a credible roster of potential customers for certain kinds of product. Number 5, newsletter. Newsletter can be an effective low cost way to reach reader. A newsletter provides information in the briefest form. Its readers are selective. Commercial concern usually use newsletter to reach their client or potential client in a effective way. Number 7, pamphlets and leaflets. Both pamphlet and leaflets are effective to convey a message to a target audience. However, these usually have localized influence. They are informative and persuasive rather than entertaining. Major print media groups operating in Pakistan: Dawn Group, Pakistan Herald Publications, normally known as Dawn Group of Newspaper. The company was founded in 1941 by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Its flagship publication, The Daily Dawn, was first published in 1947 from an already independent Pakistan. Their main trademark in publication is, in fact, an tolerant approach to some of the most burning issues in Pakistan society. The Dawn Group have a magazine, Herald, English newspaper, bi-monthly, and Aurora is a marketing and advertising based bi-monthly magazine. Junk Group of newspaper, commonly known as the Junk Group, it was established in 1942 in Delhi by Mir Khalilur Rahman. The group's flagship publication is the Urdu language newspaper Daily Junk, which is printed from 6 stations across the country. Magazines by Junk Group: Akhbar-e Jahan, Urdu magazine; Mag Weekly, English magazine for fashion; News on Sunday, English magazine; Junk Sunday magazine in Urdu. The other newspaper of Junk Group like Awam, Daily Awaz, Daily Waqt, all are in Urdu. Nawai Waqt group of publication, established in 1940 by Hamid Nizami, one of the founding fathers of Pakistani journalism. Nawai Waqt started its operations in Lahore. The first publication to be launched was the fortnightly journal Nawai Waqt. An article that appeared in 1977, Nawai Waqt was defined as the self-appointed custodian of the ideology of Pakistan, and in the first 5 years of existence of the country, it had hunted and pursued a campaign against all liberal trends and progressive forces in the national life. Nawai Waqt uh, launched its magazine like Nidai Millat, Urdu Sunday magazine; Weekly Family, Urdu magazine; Sunday Plus is English magazine; Weekly Money Plus, English magazine; Monthly Pool, Urdu magazine for children; English Daily, The Nation English newspaper or English magazine. Express News Group. The Daily Express, found on 3rd September 1998, is one of the Pakistan's most widely circulated Urdu language newspaper, published by Central Publication, a Lexan Group. Editor was Abbas Athar, a well-known columnist. Express News Group started their magazine with the flagship of Sunday magazine. Daily Times Group. The Daily Times DT is an English language Pakistani newspaper launched on April 9, 2002. Daily Times, which is published from Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi. The paper was owned by the late Governor of Punjab and Pakistan People's Party member Salman Taseer. The Daily Times is recognized as a newspaper that educates liberal and secular ideas. Magazines by Daily Times: Friday Times Magazine, English magazine; Weekly Wicket, English magazine for kids; Daily Times Sunday magazine in English; Aajkal Sunday magazine in Urdu; Daily Aajkal Urdu magazine. Printing and publication industry of Pakistan. The principal centers of publishing are Karachi, Lahore, and Peshawar. Lahore stands out with its numerous publication houses and has been the hub of their industry from the pre-independence era. In the 80s, the industry flourished because of the government's emphasis on education and literacy. Pakistan publication industry also has a profitable market for Urdu and religious book abroad. Which book can be imported from the US and payment can be given in local currency. A considerable number of books and periodicals are exported to countries like Malaysia, East Africa, and Middle East. According to an estimate, there are about 2,000 publishers throughout Pakistan. The majority deal with the publishing of school textbooks. In the Punjab alone, there are 400 publishers registered with the Punjab textbook. Print media and national cohesion. The print media initial role was to serve as a unifier for the newly born state. The stances adopted by Jung, Dawn, and Nawai Waqt during the last phase of struggle for independence presented the demand for a separate homeland. These pioneers print media groups, due to different factors, have gradually shifted their interest from national building to commercial dependence. The primary role of national cohesion played by print media in the Pakistan movement had vanished along with the creation of Pakistan. Economic, political, and technological factors affecting print media in Pakistan. Number 1, economic factor, political factor, and technological factor. Economic factor: shrinkage of the market due to low literacy rates and lack of awareness, decline in reading habits. Influence of advertising agencies and sponsors. Political factor: Press Regulatory Act imposed from time to time till 2000. Print media was not that expressive in Pakistan. Technological fact: the convergence of new media with the old one, emerging trend of e-paper and e-book, website, and easy access to information. All these factors are leading to the construction of print media outlet in Pakistan. Print Media Corporation of Pakistan. Political affiliations. The government has considerable influence over the print media through its extensive budget for advertising and public interest campaigns. For example, the country leading Urdu daily Jang and the English language daily news, both owned by Shakilur Rahman, were cut off for a time from critical government advertising revenue after publishing articles. The Jang group was also served with approximately 13 million US dollar in tax notices harassed by government inspector. Jung also reportedly had difficulty obtaining a sufficient newsprint to publish. Lexan Group. The Lexan Group was founded in 1954. Lexan Group is a well-known business group in Pakistan. The combination is run by Lakhani brothers, among whom Iqbal Lakhani is chairman of the Lexan Group. Express News Group is a secondary company of Lexan Group. Dear student, here is the conclusion of the lecture. Future prospects of print media in Pakistan. Future prospects of print media in Pakistan. Pakistani market for print media has undergone significant changes in past decade. In 1997, the total number of daily, monthly, and minor publication was 4,455. By 2003, 6 years later, only 945 remain. Based on these facts, it is not difficult to predict the future prospects of print media in Pakistan. This is the conclusion of our lecture. Dear student, thank you so much. Student, here is the references.